Hey there, guys. Welcome back to another review. And wow, oh wow, oh wow. Fan Tabby Dozy. That was absolutely unbelievable. The second half was, anyway. Um, Everything you want from a Leeds Liverpool game, the rivalry, and everything that comes with it, the ingredients for an absolute magic, probably one of the one going down in the history books, and certainly will or should be on match of the day first tonight. It was an absolute brilliant game, second half, very open, very end to end. Had a little bit of light and shade to it throughout the match. Thought the first half was a little bit boring, a little bit tedious. Nobody really opened each other up. Thought Leeds pretty much just held what they had to do, withstood Liverpool, bearing maybe a couple of set pieces and a couple of open play moments. But other than that, they were really good. And then second half, all of a sudden, everything just opened up. There was fire, there was fury, there was aggression, everything that you want to see in a Premier League match, and why it is the best league in the world. And it was just unbelievable, really. You know, the fans, the atmosphere was a typical Ellen Road extravaganza. The Leeds fans never disappoint. It was unbelievable to be in. Really thoroughly enjoyed the game myself. And, you know, like I say, get your comments in, guys, nice and early, and let's get cracking with this review today. So just going over the goals, firstly. So you've got Ekatike. It was a really disappointing one from Joe Rodon. You know, the man who is Mr. Reliable, 7 out of 10 every week. Even he can drop a mistake every now and again. Was really disappointed. You know, he just played a square pass to very much on his blind side. I think he just expected someone to be there. And it was just a lack of concentration, focus in the moment. And then Ekatike, you know, you can't do that at this level. You can't afford to be dropping them sort of mistakes, playing it through. Ampadu just couldn't quite get there. And I think he was more probably worried that if he did get there, how much of the ball would he have taken? I'm not so sure a great deal. So it was probably safer for him to sort of let him get through a little bit easier. And obviously puts it away and sends Liverpool 1-0 up. Then you're looking at the second goal that goes in. You're thinking, Goodmanson, again on his side, he's let us down a slight bit again. You know, I'm very concerned with him of late. I thought he lost the plot a little bit as the game went on. To be honest with you, he was giving the ball away quite cheaply. And I'm not having a go at Leeds here. I'm just giving the review, guys, of the game. So please bear with me. But he's given the ball away in a really dangerous, precarious moment. And then they've obviously gone and put the ball into the box. And Ekatike is just slightly onside. So, you know, at that point, I'm thinking, oh dear, this could end quite badly, especially 2-3 maybe going in. And it would have been curtains had another one went in. But this is where the turning point comes, obviously. Really, really good from Leeds. Aggressive, you know, never say die attitude. They got really stuck in and they were attacking. They imposed themselves onto Liverpool. They made it a real test and asked questions constantly of Liverpool. And that was the key. That was the key. Just keep going, keep battling away. Fair play to Daniel as well. I want to give him some credit today. Because the two goals that come, that is not his fault. He can't do anything about that. So it's elementary errors, something that we keep discussing on the episodes to get rid of, and we're still struggling and not quite managing to do that just yet. But you know, the goal itself, you know, Kanate stupidly, naively dives in when Nonto comes on, as we were saying with the subs. Tanaka should have been on it for me at half time. The midfield was far from inspiring. There wasn't any creativity or anyone to push the team up the pitch. So it was very much a let's play safe first half, see where we sat at half time. But, you know, coming back, sorry, I'm going to have to go back a bit here. But, you know, again at half time, we've come back out and we've been switched off. So that's something, again, that concerns me. But I'm not going to look too much at that tonight because as soon as Nonto gets that penalty, Calvert-Lewin puts it away. The crowd, the roar, oh, absolutely unbelievable. It just set. The fortress was set. Liverpool absolutely, how do I put this politely? Just completely self-imploded is what I will say. And then all of a sudden, very similar to theirs, it was a sort of deja vu type of thing. We go and score a second very quickly. And it just, the crowd absolutely erupted. And it was just so magical. You know, again, I spoke about on Wednesday, hairs standing on the back of my chest, on my neck, and on your chest, wherever it is. And it was just unbelievable. I was so proud of the boys today. I think it was a really difficult game. I don't care where they are in the league. They are a top side. They're a better team than Chelsea, 100%. Quality-wise on the ball retention work. They are a lot more concrete than what they were. A lot more experience. 259 million sat on the bench. I mean, this can come to Ellen Road. You can try and scare us with the players that they have, but ultimately they've lost 6 games this season. They've lost 6 football matches, so they're not invincible. You know, Liverpool fans think that they are the best team in the league right now. Well, I'm not so sure they are. I think that we've completely controlled parts of that game. It was very counteract sort of stuff, which it had to be, you know. But when Daniel changed, it reverted back to the 4-3-3, which has been working. You know, it's only because that teams have a lot of quality that they penetrate on us quite quickly and things can turn. The transitions are really difficult to cope with. This league is, you know, we're trying to bring proper pint football with us a little bit. And that's no disrespect to what we're trying to achieve or do. But, you know, that it sometimes outweighs that bit of class that teams can bring, which we've shown over the course of the week. I mean, we scored, what, two against Man City, 3 on Wednesday and another 3 today. I think that's a really good return, and 4 points out of those 3, which it should have been more. Let's not forget that it should have been more. But it's, you know, it's brilliant, and fair play to the players. They've really got stuck in, and they've got going tonight. And well done to Leeds second half. It was a heart-beating performance, one that would send any heart pacemakers through the roof, I believe. Ian, go Leeds, go Leeds, best team. Yes, it was a fantastic display. Looking forward to seeing what Daniel has to say afterwards. I haven't caught up. I've only really just got in, so I wanted to get straight on with our review today. Ian has put great night. Absolutely, mate. It's ones that you're probably going to remember for quite a long time, really. You know, newly promoted Leeds United, having quite a storm of a week ahead at the time, and to come away with the points we have done. Wow, it's a testament to the players. You know, real character and desire shown today. Let's not forget that. You know, we aren't a team that's built on absolute qualities. We have our little gems like your Tanakas, you know, your Joe Rodons, who are normally 7 out of 10 every week. Today he's probably gone below that, to be honest, with the goal that he's given away. It was very schoolboy, but it wasn't usually like Joe to make them type of mistakes. So I will let him off. But to be honest, you're looking at it now. Had we, you know, the goals do change the game, the tempo of the crowd and everything. Would it have still been as cagey had they not scored? You don't know. It's very difficult, and it's all ifs and buts. But, you know, I do wonder whether we could have won that had it have been 0-0 and we'd have had our moments whilst it was like that. And would Daniel have changed the system? Would certain players have switched and come off and come on? I don't know. So that's what makes it so entertaining. The Premier League, guys, you know, this is the dream, baby. And this is what I love. I love the Premier League. This is why when fans say we want to go back down, and no, you don't. Don't tell yourself silly things that do not have any substance to Leeds United. This is a football club that has to be in the Premier League, even for the first 2 to 3 years. If we're having to scrape a little bit, having to dig in, and that's just what it is. That's what we've got to understand. That it's going to be difficult, but if we all stay united, we all stick together. You know, I've questioned Daniel myself. It changed it right at the death, obviously, at Man City, but we've come back stronger. And I have to give praise out. And I have to sometimes, I'm not going to eat my words because it hasn't been good enough at times against previous teams such as Forest and Brighton, and where I felt we could have done a bit more. But this week, full credit, pure champion-esque performances, pure, let's go do this. You know, let's really endure and take everything in. And, you know, the players go in next week into training and can really embrace this type of result because it was absolutely magnificent. 100% getting every bit of credit tonight. As soon as Nonto came on and Tanaka, it changed the game. Thought we looked a lot better. Similar to Chelsea, we were more on the front foot. We were pressing high. We were trying to get into their spaces. And again, like I've said, we were questioning Van Dijk a little bit. It's the best I've seen a striker come up against Van Dijk, if I'm honest, in the air. I thought aerial duels, I thought Calvert won quite a lot against him, and he gave him a really torrid time out there. And that's something that Leeds, going forward, gives me a lot of hope. And against Brentford, we have to carry this on. There's no excuses now to let this bar drop. They've got over a week to rest. I hope Daniel gives the lads at least a day or two off. I think they've deserved it, and it's coming back into it. I think one player that does slightly concern me, who I've been full of praise for at times, is Noah Okafor. I don't think he doesn't look fit at all. He's tiring very fastly in games, and I think it's something that I don't want to call it laziness, because I know there's a player in there that's really good. And his pace at times can be deceiving when he's on the wing. He's not a striker. He's not a striker for me. He's more of a winger or an inside winger that can affect games. But yeah, I don't particularly like or really want to see the Okafor and Calvert-Lewin partnership come too often, if I'm totally honest with you. But credit to everybody on the pitch. They've all played the part. Even Perry came to the party a little bit today, and he made some decent saves. A little bit soft on some set pieces. Thought he could have cleared out a few players a bit more than what he did. But he did make two fantastic saves. There was one that I think he sort of clawed out of the back of the net, or it was going that way anyway. So, guys, keep putting your comments in. Give me your thoughts on the game. You listen to me. I might be talking rubbish, so please entertain me. Let's see what you've got to say. Let's have a really good discussion tonight on this. It's a fantastic night at Ellen Road in front of a hostile atmosphere, one that Liverpool looked to have been quite scared looking. They certainly looked nervy when that first goal went in for Leeds United tonight, and I was so impressed. So impressed. I can't stop using these adjectives, because it was phenomenal. The comeback, a lot of teams would fold, a lot of teams would fold at that moment when they go 2-0 down against the champions. That's what they're going to be called tonight, because that's what they are. Forget where they are in the table. It's a false position. 100% they will be a lot higher than where they are. They've lost a lot of games, but I still think comparing them to Chelsea, their leagues are miles above Chelsea, in my opinion. Mark Humphreys, thank you very much, mate. Nice to see you back in the stream, mate. Unbelievable last 7 days. Pre the City game. Couldn't see us getting anything out of these 3 games. Whatever was said at half-time by Daniel Farke or the players, something changed. And to get 4 points is a brilliant turn. Felt absolutely knackered at the end watching it on TV. What it must have been like, Ellen wrote, oh yeah, well-deserved point, good rest now. Yeah. It really was, and that's a really good point. I've got to say, though, in terms of the part on what Daniel said at half-time, you've definitely got a great point there in terms of questioning that, because the mentality, it switched. There was an alter. I couldn't tell what had gone off, if I'm honest. There was a real lack of concentration. Have they got a little bit carried away that they got a 0-0 in at half-time? I'm not so sure. I think that they'd obviously seen Liverpool as the tough game for the week. But I expected a lot more coming out of the second half. I think everybody did. I were expecting a sub, because the midfield had been absolutely pants up to that point, if I'm honest with you. They've just stayed solid. They're not given too much away, apart from a Curtis Jones effort that came in, and Van Dijk missed a header. I don't know if that was first or second half, but it was a free header. It was absolutely glaring. The man of his ability should have finished it, but luckily for us, he didn't. But I'm a little bit concerned by the halftime talks. I don't know what's going on, and I must admit the reaction second half early on wasn't good enough at the time. So if we isolate these incidents into moments and really and talk about that, I don't think it's been anywhere near good enough to start second halves more often than not, if I'm totally honest with you. And it's something that we've got to get a little bit better at. The focus, the mindset, the mentality for the majority is absolutely fantastic. I can't complain. I am not knocking that. But coming out for the second half is not good enough. Not honestly, it's not good enough. So, it's the difference between picking them extra 2 points up. So I'm not going to be too negative tonight on that situation. It 100% has to improve, but I will focus on what went well today. I think that against the team that have won the Champions League, it is pretty much that team. Spent a lot of money. Like I said, there's £260 million sat on the bench. They have two fancy buses coming in, thinking that they are the big dog. Well, they've come to Leeds today and they've been taught a little lesson. Don't ever come to Ellen Road and underestimate Leeds United, because it is one hell of a club. It's a giant. And, Liverpool, you took one hell of a beating after you scored them 2 goals. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that in. After Jason Cundy at the weekend, I thought was very disrespectful. I say at the weekend, sorry, midweek. The games are coming that fast, you forget what day it is now. Jason Cundy was so disrespectful about Leeds. Well, we've just proven now. We've played ultimately three massive football clubs in this league that respectively to Leeds, they all should be in the top four or have been fighting for a title in the last 5 years. So, when you look back at the last performance we had against Liverpool at home, I will mention the away game that we won 2-1, but at home we lost 6-1. So the improvement since then, and for me the biggest one, the nucleus of it, was the cohesiveness compared to them. There's been a huge improvement on that side of things, and that's something that going forward I want to see it every time. There's such a collective effort there that's gone in. Really impressed. And as Mark said, 4 points, it's an absolutely fantastic return. It's better than anything that anyone would have predicted. So it's a really good return. 4 points. I think though, when you start the week, you see it so often, a team that's so out of form and goes and plays teams that are right up there. I think it's because there's no pressure. You have no pressure. I don't call them free hits, but I do say that there's not a lot of pressure because that they are so good. But don't leave yourselves coming off that pitch without leaving your heart and your soul, even your boots out there. Okay, go back into the changing room, look in your pocket. You're hoping to see your keys there. You're hoping to see your wallet, and you're hoping to see that you've got at least one or two Liverpool players in your back pocket on an individual duel. So yeah, I think there's a few players out there today that can say that, and I'm so proud of the group. They've all come together. Some aren't playing as much as probably they'd like to, but it doesn't matter. They're a team that's united. They're a team that are on the front foot. They're a team that try their best, and that is all I can ask. It doesn't have the most quality in it, but what we do have, there is a nice mixture of it. Currently, what situation we are in. So, Eamon, good evening, sir. We need more clever and accurate forward passing. Well, I must say, it's very true. I think, there are times we are a little bit loose in possession. Okay. So, yeah, I understand that. But, we are playing some of the best sides. I think the only one that I can really go with, especially first half, we were very dismissive. We were very much just get it out of the way. And then when we're up against it, we're playing against the ball a lot of the time. And I think Leeds wanted that slightly first half. I don't agree with it. I don't know if they did or not, if it was just panic. But, there were times where it was creeping back in, where we were giving the ball away a lot. And I think it's a very fair point. I think we do need better ball retention work after this week especially. Thought first half they were passing it round the back because they didn't really know what to do with the ball, and they were so concerned that Liverpool were going to come at them that they forgot what they'd done on Wednesday to a team that's in the Champions League that had beaten Barcelona 3-0. They have absolutely nothing to fear. If we can play this system, I know we slightly changed it when we started bringing players on, but if we can continue with this system and make tweaks to it like we have done today, then we've got no issues. We've got to have the manager on board with it too. He has to keep this pragmatism up, because if you don't, then you do fall behind in this league. Luckily, I feel like he's starting to realise now that when you are making changes and trying to make it difficult for the other teams, whether that's offensively, defensively, then, it does make a big difference. And it's showing that now. So, Daniel, keep doing this. Keep going like what we are. I am so impressed with you this week. Don't spoil it now at Brentford. We can go there and we can win it. I won't accept anything less than 3 points after playing teams like we have done and taking the points and the performances out like we have too. So it's absolutely massively important now that we keep going. Mark Humphries, please say so. Yeah, I have probably said a couple of funny things tonight. But everybody's so happy, it's a winning point. It's not like against Bournemouth where we concede late on and it's a stupid goal that we concede. It's a great performance today and we've warranted something and we've managed to dig deep and we've got stuck in and we've gone and got what we deserve. So, Liverpool and all them scousers in that corner, they'll be going back on their buses, disappointed, obviously. But they've come to the Lions' Den today and they can't forget that. So, they'll be disappointed because obviously they've gone in the lead, 2-0 up, 3-2 up, and they've thrown both away. But that's their fault. That's completely their fault. And complete credit to Leeds United. I do feel 12-12 today. It was 12 men versus 12 men. Let me explain that. They had the referee, the scouser that was in the black kit, which was Anthony Taylor, as per usual. And Leeds had the players in the crowd. And luckily, we managed to come out, I'd say, on top in the end. And if any team was going to win it, who knows? Really today, who knows? I don't know if we would have won it. I don't know if we'd have lost it. So I think a draw in the balance was probably about right. I thought they couldn't neutralise what we were trying to achieve today. That was the bottom line. And I was so happy. And then coming away from Ellen Road, you can't stop thinking about the week we've had. It was absolutely fantastic. Mark, great analysis, mate. Thank you very much, sir. Like I said in the previous episode, I'm looking at trying to get some sort of app onto the system so we can actually digress it even further than what we are doing already. It's something that I'm going to hopefully get going. I can't promise anything, but it's certainly going to be something I'm looking at. I've not had any time because of how busy we've been this week. It's just been crackers. Mark Humphries, he was shocking. If you don't mind, just let us know who you're on about there, mate. Smudge Ukraini, nice to see you, matey. Yes, some poor goals we give away, but what a fantastic fight back. Again, Daniel Fart, well done getting the team playing together. Absolutely, Smudge, and you made a fantastic point there. Daniel has done it again, and he is seemingly getting himself out of that wormhole. When you talk about confined space course, Daniel's definitely been on that because he comes through them holes every time right on the last second that he just pulls himself out of that. Because I even think today, if we'd have got beat against Liverpool, his job is certainly on the line. So it should take a bit of pressure off him for next week now. But I think Leeds are playing better with the pressure as well of knowing Daniel's fate's not quite so, and I think that's giving them an extra 10% to run and push. We missed a match today, 100%, but the team have come through it yet again. So proud. Mark Humphries, yes, we deserved a point. City got it today, yeah. And that's it. They do say over a season that it balances itself out. I think it's the biggest myth I've ever heard, if I'm honest with you. I don't believe in that. We get what we deserve. We should get what we deserve, most of the time, but we never do. So fingers crossed that we can start really getting some late goals if we need them, and balancing those points that we've missed prior to this, and making sure that we do. Yes, he was. That's what you're on about, the referee. Yeah, never gives us anything. If you remember, I remember back to when Sheffield Wednesday beat us 2-0 at Sheff Wednesday at Hillsborough. And Leeds scored a very much legitimate goal. The referee blew, which was Anthony Taylor on that day. And we scored the goal. Steve Evans had gone to the toilet, so he wasn't aware that the goal had somehow not counted. I'm not going to call it disallowed because apparently the game never kicked off. But he blew his whistle. Leeds scored. Their player hadn't gone off the pitch as he was walking off because he was injured or something. He's blown to say that we're playing. Well, you can't disallow it. But Anthony Taylor, of course, can because he's absolutely rubbish. Always has been. Same referee as what gave the soft penalty against Derby in the playoffs. Only him would give that. I can't. Honestly, if I ever met Anthony Taylor, I would, and this is an honest fact, I would tell him, you are such a bad referee. What made you want to do this game? Honestly, what makes you want to be a referee? I don't know what goes off back at the FA because how he's got to the top is absolutely unbelievable. And even Michael Oliver's the most overrated ref I've ever seen as well. And he usually gets this game too. So there's always controversy. We did get a penalty today. He had to give it. He literally didn't give it. He waited for VAR. He just let the ball go out and waited for VAR. That to me is ridiculous. The point where he stood watching the game. He stood watching that moment, that situation evolve, yet couldn't give a penalty. He waited for the mic back in London to tell him, go look at the screen. He called it a careless tackle off Konate. Yeah, well done for looking that on the second time. You're so good, aren't you, Anthony Taylor? How the hell he didn't see that to start with is just absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, I've no time for Anthony. I think he's one of the worst referees I've seen in the game. And Rob Jones gets that title as well. One of the better ones I've seen is Darren England. And ironically, I think he is actually from Yorkshire. I know he's been to a couple of colleges around the area. So, yeah, I'd like to see him refereeing a bit more. Because Rob Jones, he's another one as well. You know, he just swings about like he's got a purpose on the pitch. You're not supposed to be seen as a referee. Only intervene when it's necessary. Just breaking play up constantly. And it makes these games, just takes that little bit of magic dust off. It hasn't today because Tanaka is a magician and he took the magic dust off him. But, you know, they just want to be seen on TV. I swear he goes to that monitor on purpose so he can get to talk on the mic. That's all it is. It's all, honestly, it's such a fiddle at times is the game. But, you know, we move on. And it's no sour grapes from me. That is fact. So I'm just going to have a quick drink. Eamon, again, thank you very much for your comments, sir. Fact should continue with this formation and play for January to improve it. Well, I said, I had a discussion with my dad about this. So get 20 points to, you know, in the time we get to January. I hope to have 20 points. I think we're on track, which is really good. Happy day. But Fat did actually adjust and tweak the formation and went back to a back four, I believe, what I could see, when he brought off. Who did he bring off now? You'll have to leave it in the comments, guys. My head's all over the place after today. But he did slightly change it, and I think it went more of a 4-3-2, I think, something like that. But it was good, and I quite enjoy playing the two up top. It just asks more questions of the opposition. There's no point playing one up against Konate and Van Dijk when you've got someone that's aerially pretty good in the air, and he just needs a bit of support with him. So that's the most important part for me. And you know, Calvert-Lewin, his touches when they were coming down weren't as good as what they usually are today. There were a couple of miscued sort of touches, but he managed to get away with it. He had a decent game overall, and he got his goal, and now that's fourth for the season, which is a really good return. And like I said, 10 goals from either Emecha or Calvert-Lewin. If they can both be on 10, that's fantastic. And yeah, the situation we're in, I think we're looking pretty good. I think other teams will be starting to worry that Leeds are gathering this momentum now, and rightly so. We deserve this. We've actually played a lot better than what the table shows. But every team's where they are because that's where they deserve to be. So it's just something that we need to keep going with now. Carry this momentum into Brentford, and that's the crucial part. Don't get beat. Make sure you at least try and give everything you can to win. Be aggressive, be progressive, and play on the front foot. Keeping the balance at the back, making sure the midfield's working. That has to be more tireless against these sort of teams, and playing this attacking football that we do and we are capable of. It's just needing those little tweaks, bringing Tanaka back in for me. Obviously rested him because there've been a lot of physical outputs this week, but it's something that's crucial going forward. Brentford game from Mark is huge. Let's make sure we don't lose. Well, yes, I think mentality. Let's make sure we win now. You know, I think these 3 games have all proved that, you know, don't go in with fear. Go to play. Dare to do. You know, please go down to Brentford and show why we've got these results against Liverpool, against Chelsea, a performance that was well worthy of a result against City. These are the crucial parts now going forward, what Leeds have to consider. And, you know, Daniel has to follow up as well. I'm not just going to come off this. Daniel has to follow up with this pragmatism that he's shown in the last week or so, where he's actually gone and changed things because they needed changing. Don't go back to the 70-minute altercations where you think it's now time to change. Don't be this reactive manager that you are capable of being, unfortunately. Be proactive. play on the front foot, make sure that you're making your subs at the right times, and that's the most crucial part. And you know, talking of crucial parts, let's see what happens now in a crucial game down in London against Brentford, where we need to be buzzing and push them bees aside. That's the most important part. Keep an eye on that Thiago Silva, which we'll talk about in the preview this week when it comes, and there'll be lots to think about. But I'm not thinking about that tonight. We're going to enjoy this night. I hope everybody manages to enjoy it in whatever way they want to, because it's deserved. I think the fans deserve it. They deserve so much because it's the best fan base in the world, in my opinion. You know, at Sunderland and all them, they're not the best fans. You know, they might have a little bit bigger stadium for now, but you know, we have the best ground, we have the best supporters, the best atmosphere, more trophies than them, I believe. So you know, let's do this. We do it the Leeds way, and we keep pushing, and we force it through. We make sure we stay up next year at the end of the season in May, and we build on that. But for now, we focus game by game, get to January. Hopefully, they've got bodies ready to come in, and this squad needs a couple of fresh faces in there, if not three. Not too many. I don't want to imbalance the squad, but we need to be ready. We need to be ready for January, and that's something that Daniel will be well aware of. That we fell short in the window, to be honest, in the summer. So you know, let's keep going. Last comment of the night, Eamon Solomon. Thank you very much, sir. And we start scoring more goals, which is big improvement. Yes, we're creating chances. We have done, but we are creating and we're scoring now. So all this that we've created here, this big nucleus, this big, wow, this is amazing. Yeah, for me, let's take this now into the next games. Just one last comment then. Martin Turton, good result, but Tanaka should have started before Gruev. Yeah, and I don't know if he used it for an impact sub more than anything. It's a very negative player to have in, really, Gruev. He's a championship type of player, but he's 100%, and I'll never knock that. But, you know, in January, we 100% have to be in the market for a number 10 and a CDM and possibly a striker. I'd be looking to move Pirro on too. It's no fault of his own. He's just not quite up to this level for me. His goal scoring, his thinking with his feet is fantastic, but running, getting in behind defences is not his game, unfortunately. And then putting that money back into the team, because we should get at least 10 to 15 million for him. Got 19 goals last season, so he's obviously going to help a team that's pushing back up to the Premier League. Very much so. It's just whether or not teams will be prepared to spend that in January. But if they have ambitions, they will. He's basically the Dwight Gale now of the Championship, I'd have thought. And on that note, guys, thank you very much. Leeds United winners against Liverpool in what can only be described as one of the most enthralling games of the season. Let's keep going, Leeds. Let's fight. The fans, everybody united together. And united we stand. Leeds United, thank you very much. Enjoy your evening. Marching on together. Good night.